Hey everybody. Wait a sec, gotta turn off, there we go, turn off that light, save that battery. Check it out, guitar number 3 is back in the shop again, and like, getting the major glue up. Yeah, it was sitting on the bench here, and overnight, like, one of the kittens tried to jump up on this thing and snag the foam and pulled everything off the bench. And it broke the bar. It actually broke right along under where this line here, more or less. From there down to about here or so. And, yeah. Let me get some light here. There's light. Yeah, now you can see. Okay, so yeah. You can see there's a little bit like sticking out here and stuff. But yeah, hopefully I just flooded it with CA and see what happens. It's actually been clamped down now for probably half an hour, and I'm sure it's set and dry by now. So actually, yeah, sure. Here we go, live and unscripted. Let's see what happens. Can I do this? There we go. And oh, I think we have a guitar again. Man, that came together pretty nice. A little bit of it sticking out right here, but I mean, that's not that bad. All things considered, I mean, this thing was all totally, oh, it looks rough there though. Yeah, maybe I should just replace this bar. Actually, I was thinking of just making a whole new body for it. This is a Floyd Rose, and it's in a minimalist. I've decided I'm going to call these minimalist things a stick guitar, STYK, for lack of some better name for the moment. And it actually has, there's some heritage to that term as well, because I built my first 2 experimental guitars in like 1998, and the first one was a 4-string made out of a furring strip, which had a single coil on it, and it was essentially a cigar box guitar without the cigar box. And the single coil was mounted over top of the strings instead of underneath, so there was no need to cut into the furring strip. So it was a neck-through electric solid body with no wings or anything. It was just the neck-through part. And then the second one was made out of like a 1x3, and it was what was it? It was either clear pine or it was or it might have been like some kind of oak or something. And no, I think that one was clear pine, and it was a 6-string, but the string spacing was kind of narrow because it was built on a 1x3, so it didn't really work out that great. But those guitars were called the Stick 1 and the Stick 2. The way that now I have like the X1 and the X2, and I'm up to X-13 now, which is waiting for lacquer. Yeah, so when the lacquer shows up, then I can finish the clear coat, refinish, or squirt clear coat on the part of the neck and body on the X-13 that changed and got sanded back and stuff, and then I can reassemble the guitar. So, but here, this is a Floyd Rose, like I was saying. Let me get back. You know me, I ramble, I'm sorry. So, this is a minimalist stick type Floyd Rose, okay? Now, I've figured out pretty much that if we take a look at this one here, this is a minimalist stick type that I'm building right now for finally getting around to it. I'm building a minimalist Strat. And yeah, it's a minimalist Strat, and it's currently under construction. I'm calling it the Strat STYK is what I'm calling this guitar, and this would be like the Floyd Rose STYK. But yeah, here, let me turn it over, and you'll see that the bodies are actually kind of similar in design. This one's got the swing bar, that one doesn't have it on mounted right now because I was gluing it up. But yeah, basically it's like you've got sort of a triangular kind of a body, and then you've got this bar on the bottom. It's, you know, it's similar to some of the other ones where the bar is integrated, like on the X-13 bodies. What it is here is that you can get this pine blank out of a 2x4, but you can't get the body bar as well. So I actually made one out of, what was it? I made one out of plywood. No, I made one pine or plywood, something like that. But it was too small, too short. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. No, it was plywood. Yeah, this was the original prototype for this thing. And you see it's got the spacer block and the notch and the bar and the whole 9 yards. And it's got the same triangular heel. Check this out. What's going on is the neck for this thing. Where's the neck? It's turning into a video on the stick. Where'd the neck go? There's the neck. Neck's over here. Oh, what a mess, what a mess. It's in my way. X-13 parts box. Oh, big stretch here. I got the neck. Okay. Here's the neck. Yeah, I stained the fretboard and everything, and it's all been clear coated, the whole guitar. Yeah, that's it. The neck is ready to go. And so yeah, I just now finished up on the body, and it's ready for assembly now. So but like I was saying, actually I kind of forgot what I was saying. Right, so yeah, so what I did was, as you can see, I came up with this, but I didn't have pine big enough to do something like this, unless I want to get into trying to cut in a 1x6, like I got up in the corner there. But I'm not even sure the table saw can split a 1x6. And I don't have a thickness planer or any kind of thing like that in order to make 3/4. And about the only thing I could do would be get online and buy more wood. So, which is probably what I should do if I wanted to use pine, but I'd kind of like to be able to do what I can with these things, because these I can produce with relative ease just from materials on hand, and it's perfectly adequate. But it does mean that basically you don't have enough wood in order to do something with a bar, or at least on what it is I came up with this prototype, and then first what I did is I did this body, not with the bars and stuff, just the body with the block. And in fact, that was the original block on this body, where I made it for this body, but didn't get as far as mounting it on this body, because then I was like, okay, now what about the bars? Once I'd made the body and actually finished the body, you can actually see the break line between where the body was originally finished and the new finish that was put on once I put everything else on this body inside. Because what I did is I made just this body and that block and got this kind of stuff going on like this, and then I was like, okay, what about the bars? So then I made this body, and And then I was like, okay, now that I figured out this body, what I did was I said, okay, now how can I do this in a pine? And I was like, well, the obvious answer is you make this part out of pine, because that's where you want your strength in order to counter that bowing issue that plywood has. And then the rest of it can just be plywood for like the bars and the spacers and stuff like that. So that's what this one's using for materials. And because they're basically the lowest cost materials that will get the job done. And, you know, they look decent enough, but because of this, doing these two bodies, I came up with this is the main file. Let's see. Part shopping list. Oh, okay, check it out. This is the design for the next carbon fiber tube neck, and this design is probably going to work. It's specifically designed to be ergonomic, and it actually is going to provide more support than the twin tube version that was a little on the chunky side, but worked. So this is pretty much guaranteed it's going to work, and it should be as good or better than a trapezoid profile, because I specifically designed it to kind of mimic the trapezoid profile, at least as far as like overall thickness and stuff. So it won't feel chunky compared to a trapezoid. So yeah, parts are on the way. That's a different build though. What am I looking for? Someplace in here, the Scarab parts are on the way. Building X-13 with a trans trim. That's the black stain Strat parts list. Here you go. This is the blueprint from the bottom side. Looking at it from this side. Like that. Like this. This is the blueprint for a standard body layout for both a Floyd Rose and a Strat type bridge on a stick type guitar. And so yeah, I'm actually starting to come up with blueprints for these things now. And that blueprint allows you to build one of these things out of, like, you know, small pieces of pine and plywood. And I'm pretty confident that this stuff is going to be strong enough that the whole bowing issue, quote unquote, is going to go away. So, but anyway, this thing here was, yeah, it got knocked over and took a few hit points and was getting a glue up and had all those nasty clamps on it. I thought I might as well film another episode on it and add it to the video list. I think really actually it might be almost the best thing to do would be I just start a playlist for each guitar that's a build, and then, you know, as I start doing upgrades and stuff for over time, you know, I'll just like add more stuff to the playlist. Like this one here is just a, you know, this would be like a quick repair and a lot of ramble for the guitar number 3 and go on guitar number 3 playlist, so that kind of thing. But yeah, basically I just wanted to show you guys the thing all glued up, and I think I'm gonna start a playlist for the Strat STYK here, this red guy, and let's see, that's back in the parts bin. And yeah, I'm gonna doing the Strat STYK, and while I'm waiting for parts to dry and parts to dry, glue to dry and stain to dry, this is the thumb screw for this thing. I'm going to start designing this thing. The infamous Robotuner. I have all the parts to build a Gibson Robotuner based X-13, complete with kill button, EQ, quad rail, whole 9 yards, minimalist body, swing bar, trap neck, everything, you name it. I have everything but the battery box, and the battery boxes are on the way. And until then, you can always just take a 9-volt with a clip, and I've got the parts in order to make a 9-volt with a clip and a plug on the end of the clip, and then you can just attach it to the bar with a rubber band for the moment, until the battery box arrived, and then you can mount the battery box and do it that way. But yeah, so I guess I'm going to be starting a video series on the Robotuner. I'll be doing a video series on the Scarab, about half of the parts are here, and then a video series on the triple tube carbon fiber neck. And I think that triple tube carbon fiber neck really is gonna do the trick as far as like figuring out, and it's only like $75 in parts for a complete carbon fiber neck blank. Very cool. Yeah, I know that's competitive with like buying a fender neck on eBay kind of thing. So, and then I'm thinking that once I get the necks working, the next step is to see if I can do a twin tube or something like that for a carbon fiber body. Yeah. And then you'd have like basically an all carbon fiber guitar with maybe a little bit of like babinga here and there if you needed some wood to mount something on or something like that. And that could be the way to go, man. Could be. Then I guess I'll have to start a company and start building them. But anyway, nah, I don't know. Sooner or later I'm gonna run out of space. Sooner or later I'm gonna run out of space. I mean, I got, look, here's a pile, and there's a pile, and there's a whole bunch over there. I think I could fit maybe another half dozen there. I got a little room here, but you know, pretty soon there's going to be no place left to walk in the shop. It's all just going to be, you know, a forest of guitars. So yeah, I'll have to figure out something. But anyway, yeah, so that's the latest and greatest on the X3. I still got guitar number 3. It didn't start out as an experiment, but it ended up as an experimental guitar, even though it doesn't have an X designation. And about the only other thing I got to do to this now is glue this other side back on this bar. The entire bar came off, so yeah, it helps if you point the camera where you're looking. Yeah, need to put this puppy back on here there, so it'll fit nice and tight and clean again. And then I was thinking I might have to make a whole new body, but it doesn't really look like it except for this roughness on the front. So I wouldn't say, hey, that's life, because the repair certainly seems to have taken well as far as strength goes. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, until the next video, everybody, have a good one.